Hello artists, today we are going to make some more origami. If you missed our last origami video, go back and check it out. Remember that you do need to have square paper, so if you don't have square paper and need to know how to make your paper square, that is also in our last video. Origami is the Japanese art of paper folding, so we will not be cutting this paper. You literally need your square paper and your hands. Some people call them fortune tellers, and some people call them cootie catchers. So let's get started. All right, artists, the first thing I'm going to do is label my four corners. A, B, C, D. I'm doing this to help you. You do not have to label your corners, but if you want to, go ahead. First, I'm going to connect corners A and C. So I lift corner C until it meets corner A. Guys, in origami, it's really important that you get your paper lined up as closely as possible. If it's not perfect, it's not going to be the end of the world, but it will shift your paper around and make lining things up harder later. All right, so the first thing I did was line up my two corners, and now you see I've pressed down the middle. This is a good trick to use when you have to press down a large side. Press down the middle first, then off to one side and off to the other. That helps to keep your paper straight while you're folding, because you know sometimes it wants to shift while you fold. So then I'm going to press that fold down a little bit better. I want my folds to be nice and crisp. It makes them neater and it makes it look nicer and work better in the end. Now as I go, I'm going to trace over my lines. I'll make some of them dashed and some of them solid. I'm only doing this again so that you can better see what I've done. Now I'm going to connect corners B and D the same way. Lift D until it lines up with B. Line it up the best you can. Press down the middle, press down one side, press down the other, and then push it down nice and tight and open it up again. Now you should have two creases on your paper that form a letter X. Remember, again, you do not need to draw these lines. These lines are just here to help you follow along. Now I'm going to add some labels. So I had corners A, B, C, and D, but I'm going to make a few more folds. So we're going to label the top, bottom, and sides. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so it's kind of right there near the middle. I'm going to make the top and bottom touch. That's 1 and 3, top and bottom. Line them up. This is a horizontal fold. Line up both of your corners nice and neat. What I like to do is once I get my corners in place, I pin it down real tight with my hand, with my fingers spread out, pressing down with as many fingers as I can. That helps the paper not move and shift while you fold. Then again, press down the middle, then one side, middle to the other side, and then press that whole fold down some more and open it again. I'm going to make this line dashed so you can see the difference between where I am. So there, now we should have 2 diagonal folds, 1 horizontal fold. Now I'm going to make the 2 sides touch each other, 2 and 4. Labeling, if this is new to you, can help you because I don't know about you, but a lot of times I actually like to turn my paper when I fold. I usually turn it so that I'm folding away from me. I find it easier to do that. You need to do it the way that's good for you. But when you start turning your paper and folding, it's easy to lose track of where you are. So I folded it vertically. So now I have a vertical line, folded, horizontal fold, and 2 diagonal folds. Okay, now The next thing you need to recognize is the center. So where all these lines are meeting, where all the folds meet right here, that's the middle. I have to make corners A, B, C, and D touch the middle. But what I don't want to do is let it go past the middle. So there's the middle there. I don't want this to go over here. Not even a little bit, if I can help it. That's going to make it hard later. If you folded this super neatly, what should happen when you fold corner A to the middle is that this top side should touch the vertical line and this side should touch the horizontal line. See how that's happening? Let me move my finger out of the way so you can see it better. If that's happening, your fold is probably pretty good. So again, here I went from the middle and then pressed out. I really want that fold nice and tight, so I'm going to do it a couple more times, then do the same thing with corner B. So corner B should touch the middle, the top should touch the vertical line, the side should touch the horizontal line. And now it should look a little bit like a house. Okay, and press that out. See how that's happening? Now I'm going to do corner C. C to the middle, the side should touch the horizontal line, the bottom should touch the vertical. Now, even if you do your very best job folding, if your paper is not perfectly square, when you start, it can make all of your folds seem a bit off. Corner D will touch the middle, the bottom will touch the vertical line, the side will touch the horizontal line. Now, what shape do you see here? A diamond, right? Okay, so we're going to flip this entire diamond over. You should have 4 flaps. We're going to leave them folded in this time. And we're going to flip the whole thing over, still leaving it like a diamond. Now I'm going to label it again so that we can keep following along. We'll call this corner 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now my paper is really thin. Remember in our last video, we talked about how using thin paper makes it easier to do origami because you have so many folds and your paper gets thicker and thicker and thicker as you fold. So starting with thin paper makes all that folding a bit easier. Because I'm using such thin paper, you can see all my lines through it. You can even see some of my labels through it. All right, so I'm also going to mark the center one more time. That's the center right there. We're going to do the same thing we just did. Corner 5 will touch the middle. And since you can see my lines through here, you'll notice how these two sides are going to touch these two lines. So it touches the middle. Shouldn't go past the middle. It shouldn't go before the middle, just right up to the middle. Press down the center, then the sides. Now do the same thing with corner 6, into the middle. Press it down nice and tight. 7 to the middle. And pressing down those sides, always making my fold sharper, and 8 to the middle. Now guys, this is pretty much it for your folds. At this point, you're done. But something that I like to do to make this easier to work, because we want it to pop up like this, and we want it to be able to move. Stick our fingers in it and make it open, right? So what I like to do is fold it 2 more times, once on the horizontal, and just press out that fold, open it, and then on the vertical, fold it again. All I'm doing is reinforcing those folds. It helps this move better when we're using it. Okay, so then what I would do now, a lot of times, is open it back up, but not all the way. So you can see how it's kind of folded up just a little bit, like a flower that's almost all the way open. You stick 2 fingers underneath of 2 of the flaps here, 2 fingers underneath the 2 flaps here. This is the bottom, okay? And if you pinch those 2 fingers together, I'll flatten it out again, put my fingers in, pinch them together. Now I've made everything pop out. I can do the same thing on the other side. Now, these are called fortune tellers and cootie catchers, and I'm sure they have other names. When I was in school, we used to write numbers on these, or we'd write a word like colors. And then whatever it says there, whatever the person that you're playing with picks. Well, here, let's write some things on here. So let's say I wrote green, blue, red, and yellow. Let's just say I picked those. Okay, so what we would do when I was a kid is ask somebody to pick one. So let's say somebody chose green, and we'd spell out that word, and every time we said a letter, we opened it. G-R-E-E-N. And inside here, it would say something else. Maybe numbers, maybe words, maybe a question. And again, we do the same thing until we stopped and open it up, and there'd be something inside. Okay, so this is something that you could use for a game. You could use it for a learning. You could use it for a toy. Cootie catchers and fortune tellers. They're really easy to make. They have pretty simple folds. There's just a lot of them. Now, if you had a hard time following the video, remember that the next part has step-by-step with pictures, so you can follow along exactly what I just did, but you can look at one picture at a time. Just remember to push pause in between each one so you have time to get your parts together. Remember also that if you do not have square paper, watch the last origami video. It will tell you how to make your paper into a square. And also remember, while I am using some origami paper that I have, and I was using it so that you could see what I was doing because it's nice and brightly colored, you do not have to have special paper for this. You can use anything you have at the house, including magazine papers and ads and newspaper, anything you have at all. Have fun, artists. Hey Kyle, I made a fortune teller. You want to play?
Yeah!
Pick a word.
Envision.
E-N-V-I-S-I-O-N. Pick another word.
Artist.
A-R-T-I-S-T.
Research.
It says, imagine something that will make the world better and make it.
Alright, I'm gonna do it.